Hi there. This is a vlog I've wanted to make for quite a while about my vinyl collection. And I actually just got done counting these, and I've got 80. Like, I didn't think I had nearly that much. I was like, oh, I've probably got like 20, but I've accumulated up to 80 vinyl records. And I kind of wanted to go through it and to share it and to sort of try to get myself to be comfortable back in front of the camera again for future vlogs. And so these ones in my lap right here are ones I haven't gotten the chance to clean yet. And my cleaning process is that what I do is I take distilled water. It's much better than tap water for your records. And I'll spray them down and I'll wipe them down with a microfiber rag. And then once they've dried out, I will wipe them down with another microfiber rag. And once they've dried, I'll put them in a brand new sleeve and put them back in their original sleeve. So I've got this one by Petula Clark. The album is called These Are My Songs, and most of my vinyls I get from thrift stores like Goodwill or St. Francis are where I get most of them, but I've also gone to a place in Kettering called Blind Rage Shops. A place in Kettering called Blind Rage Records, and I get a lot of records from there too. It's extremely rare that I go to Walmart or Amazon. I mean, it's happened a couple times, but I'd say like most of my records have either come from thrift stores or I've gotten them used at Blind Rage, and I really enjoy going to that place. And if you live in the Kettering or Dayton area or are visiting, I would highly recommend checking those places out. And here is Janny Frickle. The album is called It Ain't Easy. Petula Clark, and I'm sorry, I'm worn out, so bear with me. Fantastic artist, and I'm gonna be saying these about a lot of these artists because I mean, why would I buy it if I didn't like it? And here's one that had I got this from a thrift store, and amazingly enough, it's still got the shrink wrap on it, and it's got the original sticker. The artist is Anne Marie. I'm not that familiar with her, but something that I like to do when I go to thrift stores is to try to pick up artists that I'm not that familiar with or have never even heard of, and it's pretty easy to do that at Goodwill and St. Francis because there's a lot of artists who I'll be like, I've never heard of that person and I probably never will again until I come back to search for more records. And then the last one that I haven't gotten to clean yet is, this is a really good find I got at St. Francis, a greatest hits album by Tony Bennett, a classic musician, and this one, it even opens up. So, my main collection. This is gonna be fun. Freedom by Wham. I actually kind of bought this by accident because I was like, oh, it's Freedom by George Michael, except I guess they did it with Wham, but it's not the same song at all, like, period. It's not. It's still good. I mean, Wham, I like Wham, but I actually prefer George Michael as a solo artist. Tom Jones. I'm not that familiar with his music, but I love his song It's Not Unusual, so I really want to check out some of his other stuff. And I'm going to try to go through these quickly. Some of these I might linger on if there's a story attached to it. This is another band called Taurus that I'm not that familiar with, or at least wasn't when I first bought the album. And this is another one that opens up and it has the albums from the 80s and 70s had insanely good art. That's not something that happens a lot, and I think that's because vinyl was so popular back then that I think they had to create these really elaborate albums, and you don't see that a whole lot nowadays. Maybe it'll end up happening more often now that vinyl is beginning to outsell CDs. which is crazy. I mean, that's the first time that's happened since 1986. I think the past 3 years, vinyl has outsold CDs. It's true. You can look it up. It was on the news. Here's another one, a band, Sweet Comfort Band. Another cool album art. Another band that I knew nothing about, and they ended up being great. Ray Charles, a classic. This sleeve is falling apart because, I mean, you can see where the record is trying to come out the bottom. This was definitely a 50 Cent bin record. But I get surprised sometimes when I get records that are only like 50 cents, and then once I clean them up, they play great. So even if you see one that's like in rough shape, if you're able to really like clean it well with some distilled water and a good rag, you can work miracles. And there are even deeper cleans that you can go through that you can find videos on YouTube. But I think that distilled water and a microfiber rag, it pretty much does the job. Another Ray Charles album. He's a terrific musician. I don't think I've actually gotten to listen to this one yet. And this is one I found at FYE, one of my favorite soundtracks of all time, Flash Gordon by Queen. I'm not actually that big of a Queen fan. I like their music for Flash Gordon and Highlander, but their like commercial stuff is just fine. Like, I don't go out of my way to listen to Queen all that often unless it's the Flash Gordon soundtrack or Highlander. And this is one that I was like really excited to find. It was this Pink Floyd album, Dark Side of the Moon. And I believe I got this one at Best Buy. And I was excited to find it because I tried to find it in other places, but it was like marked up really high. But Best Buy had it for like $20, and I was like, yes, I'm gonna take that. And usually when I buy records, my minimum is like $10 to $15 unless it's an album I really want, and I typically don't spend over $30 on a single album. It's extremely rare that I do that, but it's like for $20 it has to be something that I've been looking for. But I typically don't like to spend more than $10 or $15 on a single album, especially if it's been used. Here's another really cool one. I love, I'm gonna get a better shot of it. I love these picture vinyls. This plays great. Like, it sounds really good. I was kind of hesitant because I was like, well, I didn't know how it would play. Like, I'd never seen a picture vinyl before. I discovered this one at Walmart. And Purple Rain is a really terrific movie, and it's got an even better soundtrack. But it sounds just like a brand new record. Like, the picture on the vinyl doesn't inhibit the sound whatsoever. At least not to my ears, it didn't. And gosh, what was the name of this band? Sister Devil. And this one's got, I'm going to take the vinyl out for this one because this one has a really cool vinyl. Another picture disc. I mean, look how awesome that is. I believe this is an indie band, so I'd never heard of them. But if you're into stuff like Rammstein, this is a good band to get into. Olivia Newton-John. I believe I got this one at Blind Rage. This was a really good one. The jacket was in really good condition, and for the inner sleeves, I've used a combination of like these ones here, and there are some like cheap ones you get on Amazon that do just as well. But for some of my like favorite albums, I like to use these ones. And then there's another. This is another one that opens up. I really love Olivia Newton-John's voice, and I think she's a terrific musician. So I've got a couple of her albums. Here's another one. A friend of mine gave me this. In fact, I have a friend that does a lot of picking, where he goes to places that his friends are like cleaning up, or they're like, hey, I've got a barn or an old attic that needs cleaning out. And he finds records and he's like, he doesn't have a record player, and he's been nice enough to give me his finds. And this was a one that's in really great condition. Because other times he's done that for me. I've had ones where when I literally went to clean them, I would like hold them and it would just break in my hands. Like, I'm not rough with them at all. It's just like cleaning like this, and it just breaks in my hands. Like, it was, I mean, it's a miracle that some of them are in great condition, but it was just funny to me that a couple of them just broke. And gosh, she's really easy on the eyes. Like, she's extremely beautiful, like a very beautiful looking woman. Fantastic singer. Another Olivia Newton-John. My sister is also a huge Olivia Newton-John fan. This one also opens up. My sister Abigail is also very much into vinyl, and we had, my siblings and I had vinyl growing up, another Olivia Newton-John, and that was courtesy of my mom's mom gave us a record player that we used quite often. And I think one of our first records we had was a Queen album, and I can't remember what the name of it was. Like, that's gonna bother me. But a lot of these Olivia Newton-John albums open up. And we're out of Olivia Newton-John, and now we're into Ted Nugent. This was another like 50 Cent record. Like, I've got some tearing right here, but the back looks all right, and the vinyl inside, from what I remember, was in okay condition. And sometimes when I buy records, they don't even have the sleeves anymore. And this is a Mike Oldfield album. I don't know if I've listened to this, and I don't know if I know anything about him. And I believe that this is a indie band called N64. This is one that I got from Blind Rage, and I wanted to show off the actual vinyl because it's clear. Like, how cool is that? The only thing I'm going to hate about this is that it's going to do an extra good job of showing where the fingerprints are. Like, that's going to drive me crazy, because the process I go through when I listen to my vinyls is that I wipe them off before and after. I wipe them off with a microfiber cloth, just to clean them before they get on the turntable, and as well as afterwards. And of course, I'm having a huge problem getting this in here, but I like to clean them before and after, and I think that helps to keep the quality. Neil Diamond, Howard and Amy's favorite artist. This one opens up, but there's no picture on the inside. What the hell's up with that? I don't think I knew that when I bought it. Not that it really matters. I think this is another one I got for like $1.50, and it's in really good condition, the outside as well as the inside. Another Neil Diamond. I think I got this one at the thrift store. It's weird that a lot of these I remember where the hell I got them, and I think that has a lot to do with the fact that I will bike to the thrift store to go, like when the weather's nice, to go get some of these. And it's just a nice thing. It's why I don't like to order vinyl on the internet unless it's something I'm been looking for. So a lot of times I like to go to places that I can walk or ride my bike to. Here's a band that I don't know a whole lot about. Midnight Oil, Diesel and Dust. Beds Are Burning is a great song. This is overall a pretty good album. And another good one. This is why I like records, is because I can hold on to this. Like, it feels like a process to set up a record and to listen to it. And I've got a good sound system, and it does pretty well by these records. It's the surround sound system that I have. It used to be my dad's, and it was the one that we had growing up that would attach to the CRT TV. So it's older technology, so it fits pretty well with vinyl records, and it sounds really good. I've been curious to get a more recent setup, like maybe once this one finally dies, I will do that. But I would be curious to see how these would do with something like Dolby Atmos. And here's an artist that just recently passed away, Meatloaf. I typically just like Meatloaf's Bat Out of Hell trilogy, but the Dead Ringer album is pretty good. I don't like it nearly as much as the Bat Out of Hell trilogy, but I think I got this one super cheap at Blind Rage. Here's some stuff that I don't have a lot of hip hop stuff. This artist is MF Doom, really good hip hop artist. I like his stuff. I'm kind of picky when it comes to hip hop and R&B, but overall I like MF Doom stuff quite a bit. Here's Kansas, a Kansas album. This is another one my friend gave me when he went picking. I'm not that familiar with Joyous Cheryl, but it's got a bunch of writing on the back of it too. Like you can see like signatures. Like I don't know who any of these people are, and that's kind of wild to me. Like one of these says, "Remember the roller coaster?" Like what the hell does that even mean? Like only the previous owner might know what the hell that means. It's crazy. One of my favorite artists is John Lee Hooker, probably my favorite blues artist ever. I got all of my John Lee Hooker albums from Half Price Books, which they sell a lot of really good vinyl stuff as well. There's Burning Hell, House of Blues, and just John Lee Hooker. I know I was talking about like really intricate covers earlier, but there's something about an artist that is now gone and was a classic back in like the 50s or 60s where it's just them, in this case John Lee Hooker sitting on like a step, that I kind of dig. Like I kind of dig the simplicity, which I know is somewhat contradictory to what I had said earlier. John Denver, haven't listened to this one yet, I don't think, but Country Roads Take Me Home, classic song. One of my favorite artists and one of my favorite directors, John Carpenter, has been killing it with his music. I've loved his music ever since I discovered his filmography, and I think his Lost Themes stuff has been really good. I really enjoy the stuff he's been doing with his sons. And this is Lost Themes 3 might be my favorite of the trilogy. Lost Themes 1 and 2 are really, really good, but Lost Themes 3 is terrific. Jefferson Starship. I don't think I've listened to this album yet. And there's a couple of these that I haven't like gotten to be totally honest. And here's one that's in like really, the jacket is in really rough condition. Like I don't know if it on the camera if you can see it, but it's torn real bad here. The back, it's got some water damage on the back, but the front is by far the worst condition. But amazingly enough, I was able to clean up the vinyl on the inside, and when I played it, it sounds pretty good. Like it sounds brand new. It's just the dust jacket. The jacket is ugly, and again, if you're watching this and you're like really into vinyl and you know like specific terms that I don't, I might have said dust jacket, and this might be. Some people call this the dust jacket, the inner sleeve, but I just call it the inner sleeve. I think this is called the dust jacket technically, but I'm not sure. I just enjoy collecting. I don't pretend to be an expert. Like I know a few things to get by and to take good care of my collection, but that's it. Helen Reddy is another artist I got into pretty much by accident because I picked up one of her albums, not this one in particular, one of her albums I picked up randomly from like a dollar bin. And I was like, she's great. Like, I love her. And I've discovered a lot of really terrific artists just getting one of their LPs for a dollar or for 50 cents. And then I end up getting more of their albums from other thrift stores or Blind Rage or what have you. So Helen Reddy is one that I've gotten into quite a bit. There's another one of hers. I've had a lot of really good luck finding her albums at Goodwill stores especially. And an artist I see a lot is Rod Stewart. Is anybody else experiencing that? Like, there's artists that I see everywhere. And Rod Stewart's like the one where if I go to St. Francis, I see some of his albums there. If I go to Goodwill, I find some of his albums there. If I go to St. Francis, I find. If I go to Blind Rage, I find more of his used albums. I guess people are getting rid of their Rod Stewart albums. Like, what did he do something, or is it just like a weird coincidence? But I just thought it was funny. I like Rod Stewart just fine. And I always consider buying up those albums, but I don't know if I like them enough to spend a lot of money. But I think next time I go, if his albums are still like 50 cents to a dollar, I might get them. Helen Reddy, this is a really nice one that I found at a thrift store that opens up. This opens up doubly. Wow. I actually think I've either forgotten or didn't know it did that. Helen. And Helen is also the one where I've actually accidentally bought dupes of some of her albums and I've ended up giving them to my sister. Helen. And this one right here is the first album I bought of hers that I got for like 50 cents. I know it says 99 cents, but it was in the 50 cents bin. And she just knocked my socks off. Like, I think she's really terrific. I like her quite a bit. Man, George Benson. I haven't had a chance to listen to this one yet, but fantastic artist. Here's another album that's like in kind of crappy condition. Four Seasons, and it's got some writing on the back of it. I don't remember where I got this one. Pretty sure it might have been a garage sale because there's some sun damage on the side of it that's really bad. And I believe I got this one along with it, another Four Seasons album. And here's my favorite band of all time, the Foo Fighters. I try not to double dip when I buy music. Like, if I have an album on CD, I won't buy it on vinyl unless I got it for like $1 or 50 cents. But there are some artists that I make some exceptions with, and Foo Fighters is one of them, because it's my favorite band. So I'm willing to get albums of theirs that are on both vinyl and CD, so that way I can listen at home and in the car. Yeah, this is their most recent album. It's really good. I think that I like it. I would say that I like it better than Sonic Highways, but I still think that oh gosh, what was the other one that I really loved? Concrete and Gold is probably my favorite album of theirs. Like, it's right up there with In Your Honor. Like, I think it's close between those two, but for me, I think Concrete and Gold is probably my favorite album that they've ever done. Here's another one that I don't have a sleeve for. This is a Foghat album. Elton John is another artist that I really like. I've not heard of a lot of these songs on the back here, and I like that it's got like the vintage TV, so I don't know if you could see, but Elton John's face is in that TV that looks like it's from outer space. Another Elton John album. This one opens up, and we're almost there. This is probably my worst in shape album that I have. I got this one at Blind Rage for 10 cents, I think. I think I got it during when they were having their Black Friday sale, and they had their used albums out for 10 cents a piece. Like it's ripped there, and it was difficult to clean up. Like it was really difficult to clean up, and it's even worse on the inside. But the vinyl itself does play. It does not sound very good, and which concerns me because I'm afraid there still might be shit on it. So I've been meaning to give this another cleaning, but I think it also just could be damaged, like beyond repair. It might not even have debris in it anymore. It might just be flat out damaged, and there might be nothing that I can do. Eddie Money, another artist gone too soon. Love his stuff as well. Earth, Wind and Fire, really cool looking album. Here's another hip hop album by Caesar Face and MF Doom. Correct me if I'm pronouncing that first one wrong, but this is a really fun album for me to kind of listen to. Here's a good soundtrack. The movie's okay. The soundtrack for Cruel Intentions, but I love the soundtrack. Like I think the music in the film is really good. But overall, the movie, the acting's great, but I just don't, I don't know. Like college movies are really not my thing. Here's a random one that I found at the Honey Hole, which is a thrift store that is about 5 minutes that way. And this was another random band. I was like, oh, I've never heard of them, so I'll just give them a shot. And Chapter 8's all right. Like, it's just okay. Now, here's an artist that I've fallen in love with. Carly Simon, who I found out about randomly. Like, I randomly bought one of her albums, Come Upstairs, and I was just like, she's great. So she's another artist that I will double dip in. Like, I have multiples of her stuff on vinyl, CD, and even 8-track. I like her that much. I just think she's terrific. Like, I really love the sound of her music and voice. Like, some of her songs might be considered country, which I really hate country, but there's just enough rock mixed in with those country songs that I like it. Like, I haven't listened to a song of hers that I really hate. Like, I like all of her stuff. I listen to her albums while I'm working quite often, and when I'm staying at home relaxing, I listen to them all the time. But here is Torch. I believe I got this one at Blind Rage. And, I mean, it's just, that's what this hobby has brought me, is like, it gave me one of my favorite artists. Is like, I would not have, probably not have been, found out about Carly Simon until maybe never, had I not just randomly bought one of her albums. And it's just kind of funny that it worked out that way. And I have this one with my Carly Simon collection. It's the soundtrack for The Spy Who Loved Me, and Nobody Does It Better is my favorite Bond theme. Like, it's pretty close to Chris Cornell's You Know My Name. Like, I kind of go back and forth, but I was really happy to find this on vinyl. I don't remember where I got this one, but this album is called Spy, and it opens up. Spoiled Girl album. I've got like quite a bit of her stuff. No Secrets. Plain Possum. And we're still on Carly Simon. hotcakes. Like, it kind of surprised me how many of her albums I have. I would love to have all of them at some point. And this one opens up. Like, there were pictures of my mom and from like when she was younger than me, that where she was kind of dressed somewhat like that, and it's kind of, I mean, I guess there are definitely weird ways about how my generation dresses, but I've always liked the 60s, 70s, and 80s style. Still on Carly Simon with Hello Big Man. And I don't think I've actually gotten to listen to this album yet, so I might actually do that tonight. And here's the one that started it all. Come Upstairs. Brilliant album. Like, I really love this album. It's one of my favorites. And it's probably because it got me into Carly Simon, to be totally honest. And I got this one at Half Price Books, and I actually bought this with my current record player. Like, I didn't have a whole lot of records at the time. I don't think I had any actually. So I bought this one and my John Lee Hooker albums, and I bought that record player that I've been using for the past couple of years, and it's just kind of spiraled from that. Like, it's kind of neat. Coming Around Again. We're still in Carly Simon. The Best Of. This is a greatest hits album, obviously. Most of these songs I have on other albums, but it's like I'm a completionist when it comes to my favorite artists, I guess. Here's gosh, what's this one called? Another Passenger. And this one, I thought this one opens up. I could be wrong. No, it's just the dust jacket is just not in the best condition. And here's the very last Carly Simon album that I own. I've got a couple more that I need to track down, but I've got quite a bit of hers. And I believe this is her debut album because it just says Carly Simon. So, for those that weren't keeping track, I've got how many of her albums? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I've got 12, 13 if you're counting the Spy Who Loved Me for Carly Simon. Like, that's insane. Here's a Black Sabbath album. This is another one that my friend Jamie gave to me. The one I kind of mentioned earlier that does the picking, and he found this like in a random barn. And it kind of impressed me that this wasn't like destroyed, but it's a Black Sabbath album. And it was a miracle that it didn't break when I tried to clean it. This is one I got recently at the St. Francis thrift store. Actually, no, I got this one at Blind Rage. I'm sorry. But I might have seen this very exact one at St. Francis, just not in as good condition. But I've always wanted to give Barbara Streisand a try. And so we'll see if I end up liking this one. Here's one of the few ones I've gotten off of Amazon. This is an Anthrax album. And these ones are colored. I like the colored albums. If I get them, if I can. And of course, my cat is making a lot of noise in the background, so we're just gonna ignore her. But here's another one that's like bright green, and no, it does not glow in the dark. I check. We're almost there. I am impressed by anybody that stuck through this whole thing. Asia, one of Dean Winchester's favorite bands. Really awesome cover. The Asia has a lot of really terrific covers. Here's ones that are they're like scores that aren't by any particular artist that I've kind of just kept in the back. Somewhere in Time. Besides Superman, this is probably my favorite Christopher Reeve performance. This is really terrific. Like, if you were like, he can't do anything else besides be Superman, I think this movie would prove you wrong. This is another one that was given to me by my friend Jamie. I don't think I've actually put this on yet, and I probably won't until this December. It's a Christmas album. I don't recognize any of these artists with the exception of Bing Crosby and Glenn Campbell. But there's like 10 artists on this album. Soundtrack to Camelot, starring Richard Burton and Julie Andrews. And the very last one I've got in the back is The Sea, which is like a bunch of music that I guess reminds you of the sea. I don't know why I bought this one. Like, there's nobody that I know of. I think this was just a random one. I was like, oh, the cover's kind of cool, and maybe this will be a relaxing album to listen to. And it's not bad. So yeah, that's my record collection. Oh, and I've got an Elvis record right there. So thank you for watching. Comment below, let me know if you collect vinyl and where you like to get yours. Like I said, I like to get mine from mostly thrift stores and small businesses. Like, I try to avoid getting it from Best Buy, Walmart, Amazon, any of those really big companies. It's cool to give old records that were part of somebody else's collection sort of a second life, and to be able to appreciate them on my own. So thanks so much for watching. Bye.